countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The Transformers, more than meets the eye. The Transformers, more than meets the eye.
Hello and welcome to the 68th episode of ToyCast. I am TFG1Mike and joining me is the Goddamn Protoman. Hello, sir.
How you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. We have been officially back. This will be the third episode that we've been back. The previous two episodes I've recorded with Optibotimus and Spada. Well, my text messaging goes off. I wasn't expecting that. So, what have you been up to, sir?
Recently? Oh, well, TFCon just ended not too long ago. I've just been kind of just relaxing. God, what have I been doing? I don't know. This and that has been coming in the mail in terms of toys. I've been working on my house recently. It's the end of summer. Just relaxing, working on the house. Nothing much, really. Maybe next month I'm going to be going to some conventions, but this month it's pretty dry in August.
Yeah, this month isn't really gonna be too dry as far as toys, though.
Oh no, of course not.
Provided that we can find them.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other story.
Yes, I've had a fairly good couple of weeks here in August. I finally got SDCC Mighty Mugs Prowl. I've gotten my first Matty Collector order. I got Cars Tune Tokyo Mater, which was an SDCC exclusive from this year. What else did I... Surprisingly enough, I didn't realize it was going to come out this soon, and it will probably be in a future episode of ToyCast. I had pre-ordered this Challenge at Cybertron set, and it says on there, third quarter 2010.
Yep.
Well, I don't know what BBTS considers third quarter. I know fourth quarter is like October, November, December, so I guess third quarter is July, August, and September. I don't know. But I hate when they, and I don't think it's just BBTS, I think it's because of Hasbro and all, or Takara, or whoever makes these things, whatever toy company makes it, I think that's just what they give the sellers as a potential release date. I didn't expect it to come out so soon, so I had to rush to the bank the other day to make sure that I had enough money in there because I got an email from BBTS. Oh, your pre-order is in. It is, we're ready to charge you. So, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And that means mine are probably on their way too then. I ordered from a Canadian source, but...
yeah.
Really, that's fast.
Yeah. They're actually showing in stock on BBTS as of right now.
That's interesting because that set, while it's still kind of on the fence of what its story is, the rumor is that it's a Target exclusive, and there's yet to be any kind of like computer listings or anything to show up yet. So, wow, either BBTS got it like retardedly early, or I don't know. That's crazy.
I don't know, but this will when I haven't gotten it yet as of this recording, but when I get it, it will actually be my very first Classics hot rod mold.
Finally.
Outside of the awe-inspiring Shattered Glass Rodimus from BotCon. But yeah, it'll be my my very first Classics Rodimus hot rod mold, or whatever the hell you want to call it.
And I'll admit, I still think the Henkei one still nudges it out a little bit. I still think the Henkei one's the best, although the one you are getting is better than the Classics one. I'm not a fan of the Classics one.
The only reason why I like the Henkei one is because it's It's basically Hot Rod.
There's a lot of aspects to it. Number one, the clear plastic, the clear blue,
yeah,
which if you own the original Hot Rod toy, that's
purple.
The original Hot Rod.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
G1,
G1. Okay.
It's clear blue, which is a very important aspect. As a kid, like I remember, the first Hot Rod toy I had actually the whole top piece busted off. It was broken.
Yeah.
And
thanks for talking about that. Since I've got you on the show, I actually have a question about G1 Hot Rod. Now that I'm thinking about it,
what's up?
I noticed this when I was doing. I might have been moving him around, or I don't know. I got this one off eBay. I paid $85, and it's just I think it's just the original '86 one that. I'm going to turn my video on here so you can see it. But why is? See the purple?
It's not purple. It's fade.
It's fade.
It's fade. Yeah, those stickers, I have that on a few of mine because I have multiple versions of it. What Mike is showing me here, listeners, is on the side of Hot Rod, I guess we could call it his doors, if you will, there was 2 individual stickers that were used. Sometimes those stickers throughout the years, they fade and they come off as purple. When they're on the original sticker sheet, they're more of a red. But I don't know why that happens. It's a very common thing. Hot Rod has 2 pretty much like bad sticker areas. It's his shins, which they always friction out. They get damaged.
Yeah.
And those side doors. I've seen a lot of those like that. I have, just looking at my collection right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the original G1, not counting reissues or whatever, of the original Rodimus.
Okay. So it's
a mix of Target Master and non-Target Master in there, but I'd have to count.
Right.
But I know my original, very first Hot Rod toy I ever got was a broken one that I managed to get through a friend, and I was happy to get that broken one. And looking at that one right now, it has that purple fade on it, but yet there's other ones that don't. It's not a sticker variation or anything. It's just that some of them fade in that area.
Okay, see, I thought it was, and of course I bought this thing like 2 years ago, so it's not like I can go back to the guy now and say...
Oh, no, it's not a bootleg. It's not a bootleg. It's not a repro label. If anything, that proves even more so that what you got is legitimate. Instead of a guy
and that's fine. I just thought that it might have been not really a bootleg, but more of maybe a variant. But no, that's fine. And of course I have plastic toe.
In terms of G1 Rodimus, the only variants are the plastic toes and the metal toes. That's it.
Okay.
And the metal toe version, like mint on box, it was just advertised Hot Rod. The plastic toe version, how you knew you were getting the plastic toe version was they also advertised on the box free glow-in-the-dark poster. So whenever you have a mint in box Hot Rod, that it advertises the glow-in-the-dark poster for all you mint in box collectors, you know that's the plastic version you're getting.
Yeah.
It's just the toes. That's it.
So yeah, I'm super excited for that set, mainly because of the Classics Rodimus and the Cyclonus, because let's all face it, while the US version that we got for Cyclonus is awesome, he was a little too dark. And while the Takara version
was a little too lavender.
Was a little too lavender girly. And this is a nice combination of it's a nice middle ground. The Galvatron I'm not too stoked about, but I'll just put him against my regular G1 movie.
Again, it's one of those things where I think if you have to pick, first of all, the mold isn't that super to begin with.
Yeah.
But if you had to pick one, I think the Henkei one kind of beats it out because they colored still the cannon better in the Henkei one.
Yeah,
it's a lot more of an emphasis on the orange. The chrome just works in better areas because the original G1 Galvatron had silver stickers and chrome on it. Mm-hmm. So it captures more of that. Where I do agree with you, where this one that's coming out, I find that this one that is coming out of Cyclonus really captures how he looked in the movie.
Yeah,
like a lot of people don't know, but the colors that were used, mind you, was season 3, and season 3 was kind of jumpy back and forth when it came to colors, though. But at least in the movie, Cyclonus had a really, really, I guess it's called a gritty purple.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know how to describe, like a very, like, purple mixed with mild amounts of gray. And this captures that perfectly.
Yeah,
like, this set really gets that movie 86 Cyclonus perfectly.
The
lavender one, maybe it was a animation mistake from Nelson Shin's season 3. Who knows?
The only thing that I have a complaint against this version of the Rodimus mold, why is the window just a blue paint and not translucent?
Yes, that it's one of the two things that bother me about it. Number one, it's the windows. It's like a baby blue. Mm-hmm. That really bothers me, and they also went out of their way because I said to myself, okay, so that means that the windows are baby blue. What do they do with the rest of the clear plastic areas? That's the problem. The missile is a baby blue.
Yeah.
And when you have that in robot mode, and you have this Rodimus figure holding his gun, and then you got this flaming baby blue missile sticking out. It looks, I've seen the pictures, it looks so weird. It really does.
Yeah.
Where, and again, the Henkei one, accredited, it's got that clear blue plastic that makes it dead on like the original. I mean, to its credit, this new one that's coming out, this Challenger Cybertron one, it's got a very nice red on it.
Yeah.
That's very reminiscent of Rodimus Prime, not so much Hot Rod.
Yeah.
Rodimus Prime, especially in the Marvel comic books, had a very strong red and a very strong yellow. I kind of get that vibe from it. Like, this is a very, like, Rodimus Prime Marvel Comics color scheme, minus that baby blue, like, coloring there. And the Henkei one is very Hot Rod. It's like, especially in toy form. It's just, and that gold chrome spoiler, I mean, I can't stress that enough. Like, that thing just shimmers. It's absolutely amazing. And while I'm excited about this new Hot Rod, I'm happy that people will have an opportunity to pick up this character. Also, like, a lot of people were worried if it's going to work with Protector or not. I have to reassure people one thing is that between the three Rodimuses, there's very few paint application differences.
Yeah.
Compared to say Henkei Optimus and Henkei Convoy and Classics Optimus. There's big differences between the two there. Like, if you use the TFCon exclusive or the Dia Commander, Powered Commander, whatever you want to call it, with Henkei Optimus, you notice the color differences that don't match instead of using the Classics one. Where I don't really see how a fans project could paint the trailer in a way that would hinder if you use the Henkei one or the Classics one or even this new Sons of Cybertron one, because the trailer has always been its own kind of different thing. So I wouldn't worry about it. I think that the fans are very lucky now. They're going to get a chance. For those who didn't pick up Classics Rodimus in the past or the Henkei one when it was cheaper, now they're going to get a chance to pick it up and get a little bonus with it. Hey, worst case scenario, you buy the set for, what is it going for, like $54 or something?
It's $54.98 after tax. Well,
you pick it up, and if you could somehow sell Cyclonus and Galvatron, if you're not too keen on them, you're pretty much buying a Rodimus at retail. So it's pretty sweet, actually.
See, that's my problem. The only one that I couldn't get two sets of these things. I just couldn't. So I'd only pre-ordered one, so I'm only getting one of these sets. And my only issue is I need another one for another Hot Rod and Cyclonus, and then I'm stuck with two Galvatrons.
I'm in the same boat.
I'll keep one of the Galvatrons just to have it to put it up against my G1 Takara movie color Galvatron, because that's the one I have. I don't have the original G1 Galvatron because the colors on that toy suck. It's
I ordered 3 of these, and right away, like I posted on Twitter, I was like, so who wants a spare Galvatron and Cyclonus? It was just like, what am I gonna?
If you want to give me Cyclonus, I'll take it.
I have a few Montreal locals that are already like jumping. Yeah.
Fucking Canadians.
You should have jumped on it right away because I had a few months. Oh, right here, so it's just easier for me. But
yeah. So why don't you tell us your first of all, why do you think that we're getting the crystal set of animated Rodimus before the actual official release.
See, the funny thing with that is, I used to always say this about the Japanese, and it rings true, is Japan, because it's a small country, they are the kings of shipping dates. Every single Transformers series since, like, I would say Car Robots, because I know we haven't really been keeping track, like, since Beast Wars and stuff, but I know since the days of Car Robots, they were always very good with, like, an episode would come out on, because Transformers are every weekend. That's how they work. Every weekend is an episode. They're 52 episodes for 52 days of the week.
Yeah.
That's how the Japanese shows are. That's why, like, Energon, Cybertron, Armada, and Robots in the Skies, their Japanese versions, they're 52 episodes because they correspond to 52 days out of the year for Japan. They would always come out on a Saturday. And whatever episode that was, say, give an example of Car Robots, known as Robots in the Skies, it would be Indy Heat's Race, also known as Skid Z. They would make sure that weekend, that day after, on the Sunday, in Toys R Us and every toy store in Japan, Indy Heat's toy, also known as Skid Z, would come out. Like, they were always amazing with that. And you say that, like, wow, that's amazing. But you have to realize it's Japan, one time zone, small country. We're not talking the United States of America or Canada, which is humongous, with multiple time zones and multiple shipping dates and trucks that would have to travel. I mean, to travel across all of Japan would take you like 10 hours. To cross the entire United States of America, it's a 3-day trip. So just to give you an idea of how easy it is for them to do that. Now, what I'm getting at with all of this is that they're usually amazing with that when it comes to figure releases. Animated, when it came out in Japan, they actually changed the order of the episodes to that way they could put out more figures. So you have episodes 1, 2, and 3 of animated, like the movie, if you want to call it that like first 3 episodes.
More,
and then the fourth,
Transform and Roll Out.
Yeah, and then the 4th episode was Sound and Fury, the Soundwave episode.
Oh, wow.
The reason why they did that, if you look at all, like, episode 5, 6, 7, and 8, it's the Sound and Fury episode, Lockdown's episode, Black Arachnia's episode, and the episode that features Blitzwing and Lugnut in, like, more focus, because they wanted to make sure that when those first like chunk of episodes come out, you got toys on the shelf, bang, 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 right away. So the thing is that they're very far off from Rodimus coming out. They're not even close to season 3 yet. They're still, I believe, as of this weekend, they're at episode 19. So if we were 13, they're still in season 2.
Yeah, they're still in season 2.
Again, I can't tell you which episode exactly because their order is different. But they're not near season 3 yet. So what they're waiting for is when they're going to release that actual solid Rodimus figure will be when the episode Transwarp Part 1, and whatever they're going to call it in Japan, when that episode comes out. When season 3 comes out there, that's when we're going to get the Rodimus figure. Till then, we're not going to see it. It's the same thing. A lot of people are really excited about the Wingblade Optimus coming out. And like, oh, when is that coming out? When is that coming out? When the last episode of Animated airs in Japan, pretty much. Like, they always do that. They wait for the right time and the right moment because the kids, they watch the cartoon on Saturday, it gets in their blood, and then they go out to the stores on Sunday and buy that amazing character they saw on TV. And it's not just Transformers. The Japanese do that with everything, from Gundam to Pokemon. They're very. It's genius marketing, and they've been doing that for years and years and years. So I think that's the reason why we got this like crystal set first, was that they wanted to do this Transformers 2010 like promotion to pretty much like hype up the year 2010. And I think by the time season 3 rolls around, I'd have to do the math right now, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So while he's doing math.
Yeah. Well, it's just because I think by the time 2010 runs up, they won't be at season 3 yet. What I'm trying to say. Huh. So, like, I think they'll already be into 2011. So they wanted to do this promotion. I mean, the 2010 year, like I always tell people, this is the year of Rodimus.
Yeah.
I mean, we got so much Rodimus-related merchandise this year. It's unbelievable. It really is. From animated to Japanese animated to the clear set to the Sons of Cybertron Classics clear set to the Challenge of Cybertron set to the Protector armor that's coming out. I mean, and not to mention the Sleep Mode Optimus that has the Rodimus sticker on his communicator, and then on top of that, we even have the preview of Masterpiece Rodimus coming out.
Oh yeah.
So like it really is like 2010 is the year of Rodimus. It's been crazy, and at TFCon we even had a Rodimus cake just to top it all off. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it really was the year of Rodimus this year, and I think that they wanted to put out that 2010 Sons of Cybertron clear animated set as soon as possible, while it's still 2010.
Yeah.
So, and because I think by the time Christmas rolls around, I think we're still in season 2, if I do the math correctly. Yeah, we're still in season 2. So, I think that's the logical explanation. That's the only thing I could really figure out is the way that they do release dates.
Yeah. And one other Rodimus thing I want to bring up before you go into your pre-order story is I had somebody had mentioned, and this episode may happen soon. I don't know exactly how soon of ToyCast will happen, but somebody mentioned that we should do a Puggleformers episode. And I said, and Puggleformers is made by Callie. I don't have her last name off the top of my head at this point. She's on Twitter, and I said, well, I would have to for me to, properly interview her and talk to her and ask her about all, how this all started, I would have to have a sample in hand. She was like, oh, well, I'll make you one. What do you want? And I was thinking, I'm like, oh, can you do Shattered Glass Rodimus? And I sent her to the TF Wiki page that shows the comic page of his face, and she goes, yeah, I think I can pull that off. And like the next week, I got Shattered Glass Rodimus Puggleformer in the mail, and he is super awesome. And
that's amazing.
you commented on her DeviantArt, son of a.
Yeah. Because it's funny because at TFCon, General Techno, he brought a few of them. He brought, I know for sure the Lugnut one he had, and I know another girl had one too. And I was looking at them and I'm like, oh, these are really cool. Like I thought they were just kind of animated based because I think the other one was an animated Bumblebee.
Yeah.
And I didn't know who made it, what the story was, but I was like, oh, I wonder if one day they'll make an animated Rodimus one, and that just kind of like it went over my head, that da 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 da, And then I see this one and I'm like, son of a,
I mean, honestly, did you expect anything less from me? I mean, come on, look at that, man. Did you really? I mean,
I love. You know what I love about it? I love that she put the spoiler on the back because a lot of the other Puggleformers that I've seen, they don't put emphasis on their accessories. Really, they just kind of focus on the face. But yet, it's almost like she's like, I can't leave out the spoiler.
Well, it wasn't that. I asked her if she could put it on there.
Okay, cool.
Because I had asked her, the one that Nitro Streak got was a Flame War one because she likes the character of Flame War. Okay. And I asked Callie and I said, what are the two things behind her ears? And she's like, oh, what are you talking about? I said, there's two things, like there's the ears and then there's something behind them. She goes, oh, those are the jet vents. Like when the Seeker's in robot mode, like on Starscream, how he has his air intakes on his chest.
Yeah.
For G1 Starscream? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know, like on his shoulders, kind of.
Yeah. So I asked her, I said, is there any way that you could possibly put Rodimus's spoiler on there? She goes, I think I can do it, so... And the other request I had, obviously, was the purple flame with the Autobot symbol, because that's just awesome.
Oh, yeah, that's
But, so what's the deal with your pre-ordering, dude?
So my funny story, and you can even see it in Vangelis' video. He's kind of like trolling. First of all, I'm on WTF on TFW, the latest one, the podcast 107, and on his recent review of Crystal Sons of Cybertron 2-pack from Animated, Vangelis and Gogdog kind of play a little joke, trolling on me, because recently, when those sets were first announced on pre-order, I kind of was like shopping around a bit because, while everyone kind of scrambled and bought their pre-order right away, I shop around because I'm going to buy multiples. So if I'm going to buy multiples, the amount of money I save if I go to somewhere that's really good would be the equivalency of getting an extra one,
Right.
usually. So I shopped around for a bit, and then I can't even remember who suggested Ami to me, but someone suggested it to me saying they had the best prices and the shipping wasn't too bad. And I looked at it and I'm like, yeah, like if I buy 3 of them, the money I save is the equivalent of like a 4th one almost, So
Right.
I was like, okay, I went with them and I ordered 4 of them. Like it was just, I was like, you know what, the money I'm saving, I'm going to order 4, and I'll see what happens. And I ordered 4 of them, and their system, how they work is they don't take the money right away. They just contact you when the stock comes, and then you pay right there and then they ship it out.
Yeah, it's
So,
like BBTS.
Time passes. Like most pre-orders, I just kind of sit on my hands and wait for them to inform me. And next thing you know, I have some other people going, oh, my Rodimus is on the way in the mail. And I'm like, huh, they didn't even, contact me yet. Oh, well, maybe they're just getting around to me. I was kind of late to the game, right? So I'm waiting a little longer, and, Gogdog is like, oh, I got the letter receipt in the mail. It's going to be, it's at the post office right now. And I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on here? And then Vangelis is like, oh, mine's in the mail now. And I'm like, okay, something's not right. And so then I waited a couple of days, and then I got an email from Ami. And Ami is a Japanese company, and they have someone who obviously speaks kind of broken English working there. And it was like typical Japanese, email. It was, with deepest apologies, we regret to inform you that our stock inventory, oh God, I have to pull it up. Where is it? It was with deepest apologies, our stock inventory could not meet the demand, yada, yada, yada. Just telling us that, that we could, they couldn't meet the demand of my thing, and they couldn't even give me 1, they couldn't give me 4, and then on the end of all of that, they didn't even say, we'll contact you when we do get, or we'll let you know when there is, or it was just like, sorry, we couldn't get it for you, my bad, And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Then what was the point of a pre-order? What is, really, what is the point of a pre-order at that point, And it sucked because I wasted my time with these people. While everyone else went and pre-ordered and got their items, I sat on my hands expecting my item to come when I could have went with BBTS or TF Source or Automatron or any company, but I went with them because I was going to put my eggs in one basket with them, and they failed me, and that really angered me. They recently emailed me and told me one of the pre-order guys bailed out, because I think they contact the guy saying to pay for it, and then they have a week to contact back. And so one person fell through, and so they're like, lucky you, one of our pre-orders fell through, so you could get one. But I don't want one.
I want 4.
So, I'm not going to buy one from you and then have to spend shipping just all the way from Japan for one item that's probably going to get dutied on me anyways when I get over here. I might as well get all 4 and have that happen to me. Yeah. So I told them, you know what? You guys, you failed me. Now I'm going to fail you. I'm sorry. The money's going elsewhere. And I'm going to go to BBTS, I think. They haven't failed me yet.
You should have done that in the first place, dude. I understand your thinking of trying.
I know, that's just it. It was like, wow, I should have just went with them in the first place. So, maybe my experience is a unique one, but so far I've had, Ami, I'm not impressed. That's really, you don't take pre-orders for something and then tell the people afterwards that you don't have the stock. I know other places, they take pre-orders, and during the pre-order session, when they feel that they can't get any more from their pre-order numbers, they say out of stock or sold out. Every website does this, and it really peeves me off that they would do something like that, that they would take more than they can handle.
Yep.
That's not cool.
That's not good.
It isn't. Well, right now, thanks to PR, he kind of suggested some places, and I know another guy named Techno Corp or something. He also suggested some places, so I'm shopping around for. Luckily, it's not like it's not like missing Classics Rodimus or something, where if you miss your chance, it's going to be super expensive afterwards.
Yeah.
So, it's still cheap. I'm still looking around. The prices are still reasonable. So, it's now the hunt begins. I'm going to find something definitely by the end of the week. I know this weekend I'll do some looking.
Yeah, I'm not too sure on the crystal one. I just
Everyone ran to get it because it was the first taste of Rodimus.
I know.
I'm pretty sure if everyone got the Rodimus figure prior, like the Toys R Us one or even the Japanese one, I'm pretty sure everyone would kind of skim over this one. It's more just because everyone wants to get that first taste of the figure in any form,
right.
and that's the way to get it. And I don't want to knock it, but the box is, like the box it comes in is your atypical Japanese box. It's not like some BotCon, window door box or something. It's a very simple box, So with the 2010, anniversary logo on it, but I mean, again, the hype comes from a figure that no one has touched yet. It doesn't come from the fact that it's something everyone wants. It's just they want a Rodimus, regardless of. It's kind of like the Classics clear one. Before we knew about the Challenge of Cybertron set, we saw that Classics clear one.
Yeah.
Everyone was all like, "I got," like when it appeared in the Philippines at a convention, and
Yeah.
everyone was like, "I got to get that one," because everyone just wanted to get their hands on the mold in any shape or form because it was so expensive. Where now that we know what it is and everything, there's not a big demand for it. I've looked, and the Classics clear set, I think the going price is like $45, which is very good considering it's a Voyager and a Deluxe from Japan. But there's no big demand for it because everyone's going to get that Challenge of Cybertron one for pretty much the same price.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as the crystal clear animated one, it looks good. It actually, because I was, like, you were watching Evangelist's review of it, and so was I. But when Evangelist showed off the back part, and he was saying something about it's a very slim figure, there's very little backpack stuff on it. And I agree, but I don't know if it's something that, I mean, I can wait for the U.S. release. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to go out there and pay, like, if BBTS is my only option, I'll do it. If I have the money, obviously. But if it's something I can wait for and try to hunt down, like, I don't know.
It's something I'll tell the listeners, too. Don't worry about this one, because even though it's clear and it's crystal and it's all, special and everything, it really isn't limited. Like there's been clear stuff done in the past, but they've always been like e-hobby exclusives or lucky draws or some kind of like Toys R Us exclusive. These are basic retail. You go to any store in Japan right now, and these are on the shelves right now next to everything else. It's like finding the clear lockdown, 2-pack from Animated. You know what I mean? It's nothing super rare. It's one of those other things that are in mass retail. So that being said, in the future, it's not going to be an expensive item. It's not going to be something that you're going to regret later because, number one, everyone in its core form really just wants to get that actual colored Rodimus. And so that being said, well, what about the clear one? Well, due to the fact that the clear one isn't rare in terms of numbers, I don't see it being a tough item. It's kind of like Shadow Panther. Shadow Panther is a Japanese exclusive figure that's different from anything we got in America. But at the same time, because he was a regular retail figure, you could pick up Shadow Panther as cheap as $14.99 at even a BotCon, Even though he's more than like 16-year-old toy from Beast Wars that was technically a Japanese exclusive. But because he was in retail, he's not that difficult.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about it. I would wait. Unless you're someone that's like me, that's like when it comes to Rodimus stuff, I don't wait.
Well, yeah, but you're the Rodimus super fan.
I wait with every other Transformer figure. I have patience. Every other like my friend, he recently went to Burlington. He's like, we here in Canada, we didn't get the Generations toys yet. Mm-hmm. So my friend's like going to Burlington. He's like, hey, you want me to pick up the entire wave? And I'm like, you know what, bro? I'll wait. I'm not in a rush. Sure, if I was there, I might, pick up the War for Cybertron Prime and Drift right away. and maybe the Bumblebee, and then end up with this thrust, and that's usually how I end up. I pick up one, and then I leave with all of them. But I was like, you know what, I'll wait. I go to conventions. Usually they're cheaper, no tax. It's kind of how you have to realize in Canada tax is a lot more too, so that's a big difference when we say no tax.
Yeah.
I mean, States, I think, what is it? Well, how much is tax for you in your area?
If I go to a store and buy stuff, it's 6%.
Wow, it's 13 here.
But if I order, and this is funny now, I don't know how they get away with this, and maybe it's the shipping, but every time I've ordered through BBTS, they don't charge tax.
Oh, because usually, as long as BBTS says it's a used item in the box or a gift, you can get away with it. A lot of times they do that. But it's just, taxes are expensive there. So in Canada, a leader class toy is $69.99. Okay? Plus tax. So that's another 13% on $69.99. It comes to almost $80. Now you go to the States, how much is a leader class toy?
Well, I don't know about the current leader class toys,
I think
but
they're $39, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, when Animated was big, and we had Megatron, Bulkhead, and Magnus, and then Roadbuster Magnus, they were $39.99 each.
There you go. So, and then the 6% tax instead of 14.
It's 48.
It's a huge difference in money. So a lot of times, I'm willing to wait to do a big American run. And I know one time I went to the States, and I literally, it was the tail end of the movie line going into Revenge of the Fallen, and I bought like $400 in Transformers, and then I sat down in the hotel, and I added up how much I bought, like figure by figure, and then I added up how much I bought if I bought those same figures in Canada, and then how much I saved. I saved $300 from a $400 purchase. Like imagine if I would have bought the same stuff in Canada, it would have been $700.
Wow.
And I know and me, I live very close to the border, Montreal. You just go over the border, and in less than 45 minutes, you're in Plattsburgh, which is a great little place to shop. And it's just, I'm willing to wait, but with those Rodimuses, I can't wait.
Yeah, so let's get into display case here, and I guess I'm going to go first, and I'm going to be talking about crap. Thank God that's not my smoke detector. I'm going to be talking about Mighty Mug's Prowl.
Ooh.
And I just call him Mighty Mug's Prowl, even though Hasbro and Hasbro Toy Shop has touted him as an SDCC exclusive. He does not have the Comic-Con logo sticker anywhere on his box.
Oh, really?
Even though he has the silver-backed insert cardboard, he does not have the Comic-Con sticker anywhere on the box. And I've seen one other, because I did a video of him earlier, be a couple weeks ago as of this recording, but I saw one other video that's mentioned this same thing. So I went back and I looked at because I have the SDCC 09 Wolverine. And Wolverine has the Comic-Con sticker on the window in the box right below his name. Prowl does not. I'm thinking that he doesn't because he was originally meant to be a Wave 4 item with Ironhide. Now, we haven't got confirmation that Ironhide is going to happen in Mighty Mug form, but I've seen pictures of mock-ups of him. So, but yeah, Prowl is, I don't know, just doesn't.
Yeah, I'm trying to look through the BotCon photos right now because Prowl was on display at
I have the BotCon photos.
So, I'm trying to see if his box had the sticker even at that point.
I have the BotCon photos somewhere.
No, see, he doesn't have it either there.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So
because
that
I know because I know for BotCon they probably wouldn't put the sticker there advertising another convention.
Yeah.
But that is interesting, man.
Yes. So Prowl is he's pretty much the Jazz mold. Obvious. I mean seriously, we all know that Mighty Mugs, they're pretty much repaints of the basic mold, and yes, on some of them like Prowl and Jazz and Movie Bumblebee and Starscream, they mold features into the mold, like the doors and stuff. But, I mean, other than that, it's pretty much the same, blank mold, just painted as different characters. But Prowl, he is his G1 self. He does have his blaster. He's got police all over himself. I know he was a police car, but I mean, it says police on his chest. It says highway patrol on his legs. It says pole and then ice on his right and left leg. He's got 2 Autobot symbols on him, one on his chest and then one on his leg above the patrol. He's got red and blue lights all over him. He's got sheriff stars all over him on his arms. He's got one on the back of his head.
Well, they really got all the details there.
Yeah. But he's very, very cool. I'm trying to keep, now that I'm actually starting to get more toys, I'm trying to keep the Mighty Mug stuff down, but there's just a couple as of recently that I've gotten that I haven't had yet. Obviously, Prowl was one of them. I hadn't yet picked up the Iron Man Mark VI that they released as a Toys R Us exclusive, but I've got him now, so I'll do him in a future episode. Oh, that sounds horrible. Review him in a future episode. There we go. But yeah, Prowl is very, very cool. And like I said, when he first came in the package, and even just having him out of the box, because as everybody knows, these are the only boxes I save. The box itself is very shiny. I mean, like it has some weird sheen to it, even not on the silverish parts of the box. It looks like it's still in plastic, but it's not. It's very, very cool. And one of the differences between this box and all the other boxes is he has a slightly large bio on him. And I've never seen this on any of the Mighty Mug boxes. Normally they'll have like a Transformers logo or not a logo, but a Transformers saying. Or in the case of the Iron Man and War Machine ones from Toys R Us, it says, "Heroes aren't born, they're built." And then it shows you the other 2 in the line or the other 3 in the line. This one has not really a bio, but a saying that Prowl said, apparently. "Logic is the ultimate weapon. There is no problem so intractable that a calm, intelligent mind can't extricate itself. Patient analysis combined with considered action will be the blades that remove the cancer of the Decepticons. Stand with me, Autobots, and let's show those savages what a superior mind can do." I have never, I don't know if that's from his original bio on his original G1 box. I have never heard Prowl say that in G1. I don't know where that comes from.
I think it's very interesting too that they made the boxes like that. The thing is that were any of because see, the problem is I can't compare because in America Mighty Mug boxes are generic.
You mean in Canada?
Yeah. In Canada, that's what I'm saying. Did I say America?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. In Canada, the boxes are very generic, so I'm not used to any kind of individual packaging to them. But have any of the recent Mighty Mugs that are not Transformers related have been like that in retail? Do you know at all?
I did just get Iron Man. Where did I put his box? Let me see here. Bumblebee, Iron Man. And like I said, Iron Man is pretty much he's the generic. The only difference between, the only thing with Iron Man and most of the mugs that come from Toys R Us is that they say, Toys R Us exclusive. That's the only difference. Let me get this window out of the way here so I can... But as you can see, here's the bottom of the box here where it says "Heroes aren't born, they're built," and then it shows the 2 figures that are in this little line. And the Mighty Mugs logo is just like emblazoned on there. It's not... It's some sort of sticker type of feel. Whereas the Prowl box, normally the SDCC symbol would be right here where my finger is. It's not there. And this here, what I'm showing you, see how the metal is on the Mighty Mugs thing? It's silver. It's not metal, but it's silver.
Yeah.
And then on the back, it's got this large bio where the other two things or other three in the line should be.
I think maybe it's because there's a very strong chance that this Prowl might be the last Transformer Mighty Mug for a long while. That maybe they wanted to go out with a bang. It's a possibility.
Let's hope not.
I know. I'd love to see more. I think it's a very cute idea.
Yeah, and
not to mention it's not difficult to engineer those. I mean, I bet you to engineer probably like 50 of those is the equivalency of one Transformer. You know, so
yeah.
I mean, they're not tough to do. So
no.
I mean, they made Jazz out of Bumblebee, so that says a lot right there.
Yeah. The only I don't really have any complaints about the figure. I'm glad I have him. But as far as the future of Transformers mugs, I could have sworn I saw like a tempo image of Ironhide or some sort of image of Ironhide, because I thought at the time that they were going to make Wave 4 out of Ironhide and Prowl here.
See, to my knowledge, because they had that movie Wave that was coming.
Well, the movie Wave was in with Wave 3. Wave 3 was Shockwave, Jazz, Movie Prime, and Bumblebee.
Yeah. And I think, I don't remember them announcing anything else. I don't seem to remember like the Ironhide or anything. Because all I remember was you had the exclusive ones that came out, like you had the Metallic Optimus Prime that I think was last year's San Diego Comic-Con, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And then Derek J. Wyatt had one made for himself. I know that.
Yeah, but I mean, you really can't count that, seeing as how only...
Well, it was made by Hasbro, and it's a one-of-a-kind, and it was presented to Derek J. Wyatt.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. So you really can't count that as a release, because none of the rest of us are going to have that.
And I think that's it, because like even the ones that were planned eventually did get released. I don't remember an Ironhide, though.
I could have swore I saw somewhere, I don't know where it was, because I saw a picture of Prowl, potential, this was before it was even finalized that he was going to be an SDCC exclusive. I saw a picture of him, and I saw some sort of mock-up that might have been Ironhide. I don't remember, it's been so long. But I don't get why Hasbro, I mean, this isn't Robot Heroes. I mean, these Mighty Mugs are fairly... Well, and I'm not dissing Robot Heroes. Robot Heroes is awesome. They need to bring that back. But they've specifically said that Robot Heroes isn't coming back.
I found them. Here they are.
Okay.
You are right. They were from the Chinese factory. Ironhide and Prowl were supposed to be a set together.
Yeah.
And then Ironhide got discontinued. Then they went with Prowl to be the San Diego Comic-Con figure. So yeah, Ironhide's the straggler. He's all that's left.
Well,
and Ironhide came with... Whose gun is that? I think that's B's gun.
No, B didn't have a gun.
No, like shit. Whose gun is that?
Oh, you mean from the cartoon?
No, I'm saying for Ironhide. Like, whose mold is that they're using that gun from?
It's probably Jazz, or yeah, it's got to be Jazz because that kind of looks like Jazz's gun a little bit. But anyway, point is that I don't understand why Prowl and now potentially Ironhide are going to be the last of the Transformers one. You still have so many Decepticons that you could repaint the Starscream wings.
The Seeker Jets, yeah.
For Thundercracker and Skywarp and Dirt.
If you want a Slipstream, because now she's G1 canon too.
Jeez.
But
I mean, I'm saying I don't understand if there's, for me, I love them. I mean, honestly, Mighty Mugs are probably half of my collection. I know that's sad, but
no, that's fine.
Everything else is really expensive, damn it. But, you and I had said, you have someone made you a custom Rodimus one. I don't understand. And see, that's what kind of bugs me about Prowl. While Prowl is an awesome character and Michael Bell did an awesome job voicing him, why was Prowl chosen to be an SDCC exclusive when you have more predominant characters, Galvatron, Rodimus, I don't understand why they're stopping now with these, I don't know,
It's
man.
not only that too. I sometimes I look at the Starscream one even, and I say to myself, I'm pretty sure if they played it right, they could have pulled off a decent hot rod. Like even because so let's say they didn't want to have to engineer a hot rod, right? So let's say they're so lazy over there that they didn't want to have to work out the spoiler or something. I think that they could make a not too bad hot rod using the Starscream mold even.
Yeah.
Like I think if you give it the yellow wings and you just kind of like if you where there normally would not be the connection, you just paint over to make it look like there's a connection.
Right.
And then like again paint application the tri blaster, so you don't have to give them a gun because Starscream didn't come with a gun, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Not to mention it already has the basic shape of his helmet. It's the the round head. I mean they could again if they really I say to myself is if Mighty Mugs is all under the same banner. If they all have the same molds and all the molds are at their disposal, I'm not just talking the Transformer ones. I'm talking the G.I. Joe ones.
Yeah, the Star Wars ones.
I'm pretty sure you could look at a Star Wars one, and there must be one Star Wars one that you could look at it and go, you know what? That worked for Galvatron. I'm pretty sure like the Vader one or something. If you kind of stripped it down, right? If you kind of like saw it as a blank slate,
right?
And you know what? Maybe that worked for Vader. And then you might is there a Galactus Mighty Mug?
Yep.
Well, do I have to say what I'm thinking? You know what I mean? Like, it's just I'm pretty sure the tools are there. It's just that maybe the interest isn't. I don't know. Like me personally, I love it. I love Mighty Mugs, but maybe the interest isn't there. Maybe the sales weren't there. Who knows? I know Star Wars fans, they'll buy anything, so that's why,
Yeah. And the other thing is they could do, I don't know if they would do this, you mentioned how to make Galvatron. Take the Megatron mold, repaint it. Because, honestly, Galvatron's cannon arm came off just like Megatron's did.
That's true, too.
So, it's not like that they would have to stretch so far. And and I've said this before on this show. All of the Mighty Mugs, especially Marvel and Transformers, the Marvel ones and the Transformers ones, those molds are pretty much interchangeable. If you look at Ghost Rider and Human Torch side by side, it's the same mold painted as different characters.
Well, that's just it. Like, I figure that, they're all under the same banner. They all have... It's kind of like how G.I. Joe, how they swap arms and legs for different characters and make new characters out of it.
Yeah.
Like, I know the old Joes, like, if you go to yojo.com, they'll be like, okay, this figure was made from Flint's legs and Lady J's arms. No, it's true. And then they'll repaint it and they'll sell it as a new character. And this is official, like, that's their toys. That's how they do things. Where I assume that, Mighty Mugs is kind of the same process where, I could see use a Wolverine arm for one leg, and I was going to use a Wolverine like hand for one arm and use another. Like I'm pretty sure you can mix and match and create stuff that, again, if you saw it as a blank, like nothing, no details, nothing, you could probably interpret a many lot of different characters from it.
Yeah, and BBTS even they used to sell the blank white and the blank black Mighty Mug. They didn't sell obviously with Prowl doors and stuff, but as far as say just painting an Optimus Prime. Take a blank black or a blank white one, and you can, as long as you know Optimus's colors, you can paint the blank black Mighty Mug mold as Optimus Prime.
Not to mention, look what they, the fact that they went out of their way to engineer what was Shockwave. Look at that hand.
Oh, I know it. Yeah.
They could have went the lazy route and just painted a hand purple.
I know.
They went the full 9 yards and they engineered that separate, hand that has no repaint potential across the spectrum.
Oh, no.
Unless you want to welding edition cup or something, or welding Rodimus, there really is nothing you could do with that. Yes. And yet they did. So, like I said, the engineering costs, even to make new stuff, is minimal compared to what one Scout probably costs in engineering and design.
Yeah.
So, I think that the sad truth of it all is it's more just maybe there was no demand in the Transformer market for Mighty Mugs. Maybe there is a demand, but not enough to garner mass release. So maybe we're going to see Ironhide next year.
Maybe.
And then maybe like San Diego Comic-Con 2011, and then in 2012 maybe they'll throw us a bone and give us a new character. Who knows? 2011 is going to be a movie year, so
Yeah, and the thing is though, you're saying maybe it's not in that high of a demand. You know what the issue is really outside of online retailers? Toys R Us is the only store I have ever seen these things at.
The Transformer ones.
Any of them. It doesn't, any of the Mighty Mugs in general.
In Canada, I've seen them in Walmart also, but yeah, Toys R Us is the predominant one. Now you can't find them anywhere, but
when I went to Toys R Us with a friend of mine, and we were actually on the hunt for stupidly on the hunt for the our boy there that is eluding us, the real paint of Rodimus animated, which again, it was a fruitless effort, but that's when I found the Iron Man Mark VI. They had pretty much the Wave 3 figures and a couple of the original G1 Bumblebees. They had Movie Prime, Movie Bumblebee, one Shockwave and Jazz, and that was it.
I'm amazed that even after all that time, they're still present there. How much do they go for there?
$11.99.
They're not on clearance yet?
No.
Got to get me a Shockwave. Anyways.
And Prowl, honestly, I think the most I've ever paid for an individual one was probably maybe $25.
Yeah, and they're very inexpensive. When you consider that an expensive exclusive one runs you $25, I mean, geez, that's some Transformer toys at retail, Yeah,
so. Well, Prowl himself, he was only $15.99 on HTS.
It's a very economical thing to collect.
Yeah.
I find that they're very ingenious. There's a lot of potential behind it. I don't know if the actual designers are aware of the potential behind it, but there's a lot of potential behind it for any line. I mean, again, you could take anything from one line and you could use it in the next. You could take some of those Transformer ones and, maybe even use it for Star Wars characters. Who knows? I mean,
yep.
It's just it's a good line. It is.
And I think the only reason why we will never see, outside of custom stuff, we'll never see DC ones is because DC goes with Mattel.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks. But overall, Prowl is very, very cool. I really don't count the two movie figures, Mighty Mugs, because I'm still on the kick that movie line does not need to be in everything. So I don't count them in my Autobot army. So I have regular G1 Optimus, Jazz, Bumblebee, Grimlock, and now Prowl. They actually outnumber Megatron, Soundwave, Starscream, and Shockwave, so it's 5-4. And if they release Ironhide, it'll be 6-4. So they need to start making some Decepticons here.
Make some Seeker Jets, complete the Seekers at least, and then balance the power.
There you go. So let's move on off the Mighty Mugs, because I know people are probably screaming at their iPods. Stop talking about Mighty Mugs, damn it! So what are you going to be reviewing, sir?
Well, I'm going to go along the route of a third-party release of Transformer-related stuff. I recently picked up the Headmaster's box set, and what I'm referring to is not the television series or something, the Planet Master Super Warriors Headmaster box set. And what this is exactly is it's a Chinese reissue of very high quality of the original 6 super rare Headmaster toys from 1987, a reissue of Zarak and Spike, the heads for Fortress Maximus and Scorponok, and then a reissue also of the heads for Grand Maximus and Black Zarak, which is Zarak and Grand. So in total you get 10 Headmasters. And the reason why this is so important and why I picked this up, it was funny because I was at BotCon 2010, and a very nice fellow who's part of the TFW boards, Foster Logger, he showed me these, and I literally dropped to my knees when I saw them. Because prior to seeing that box set at BotCon, I did not know that this reissue set even existed. Each one of these individual characters, Kirk, Loafer, Ladani, Shuffler, Lyone, like each one of those, easily the individual original Headmaster alone, just the head, commands $500 to $600 on eBay. They were extremely rare back then. And being a completist collector, I knew that one day it would come around to that point where I'd have to pick these characters up, and it would cost me a lot of money. And while I don't hesitate to spend 4 digits on something Rodimus related or animation cells, for something like this, which is just a Headmaster head, it's very hard to swallow. So when I saw this set with these dead perfect, to the point that you can't even tell the difference, reissues of these original super rare Headmasters in a box set, and let me tell you, if you see the pictures online, this box set is gorgeous. It just blew my mind. It was just like an answer to my prayers. And I think the other thing that's also amazing about this is it comes with Black Zarek, his Headmaster. Now, Black Zarek, for a lot of people don't know, he suffers horribly, the original Black Zarek, from GPS, gold plastic syndrome. And the bootleggers were smart enough to make this reissue with gold plastic that doesn't suffer from GPS. So on top of that, they made a reissue toy that actually is better than the original, which is something that's always funny when you think about it. And I mean, this set, holding it, if it was the real deal, like if this set was the real deal in your hands of those actual toys, the set would easily be $6,000. But you could pick this set up off of eBay, or you could find some guys on TFW selling it for under $80. And I think it's a bloody steal because, I mean, these are a piece of TF history. They're based off of toys that I don't expect anyone to shell the money out for.
Yeah.
But they're and they work with your Headmasters. They work with they're like, there's a lion Headmaster that turns into a head. There's an elephant, a tiger. I mean, and then you get if you don't have a head for your Scorponok, or if you don't have a head for your Fortress Maximus, it comes with those too, just for the heck of it. And these are dead perfect reproductions because I own the originals and I'm comparing them side by side. And these guys went out of their way. And then on top of it, it comes in a super snazzy box that opens up with a display window and little English writing talking about the Headmaster Juniors, which are Nightbeat and Hosehead and everything. It's just this perfect little set, and I love it to death. And I remember when I saw it at BotCon 2010, it was like one of those things when I left, I was like, I got to find this. I got to get this. It's the best alternative to owning the real things. And the guys who did it, and this is where I put a big smile on my face, the guys who did it, they're a group that would like to remain nameless, but they're called the Planet Master Warriors. That's their unofficial Chinese bootleg name. They said that they're interested in doing the Dino cassettes. The Dino cassettes, and we're not talking Overkill and Slugfest. During Headmasters, the Japanese had 4 exclusive Dino cassettes that never came out, and those 2 are retardedly rare and retardedly expensive, and to get beautiful, perfect reissues of those as an alternative is just the greatest thing in the world. So, yeah, that's what I got.
Are you talking about Squawk Talk and Beastbox?
No. This is Noise, and I have to show you a picture. They were 4 different Dino cassettes, and each one of them combined to make a different. They made Decibel. And what was the other one? I think it was Decibel and Blastback. I'm trying to remember. Hold on. I know I have to Google something right now, which is for shame on me, but I just want to be sure for my own knowledge. Because I know Noise was the name of one of them. But it's just, those cassettes, man, those were rare too, and just to get a reissue of those would be great. But these Headmasters, I mean, I'll find you some photos you could post in like the thread for the podcast.
Yeah, I've got the link.
It's just they're absolutely gorgeous. They really are, and they're compatible. They don't like these are super high quality bootlegs. Like these guys really went out of the way to make sure. I mean, the only thing that worries me is now the secondary market for the real ones of these are screwed, because now if you find a loose one at any convention, or if you find a loose one on eBay and someone says it's the real thing, there's no real way to tell. Except unless you had it in hand and you could really inspect it and like maybe look for model casting, which is like the leftover residue from sprues.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd really need a way to tell, the difference. But it's just, these are gorgeous, and I just wanted to say, what I got.
Yeah. They do look really awesome. How much did these run?
The originals, back in the day, they used to sell them, well, with the exception of, obviously, Scorponok and Fortress Maximus. All the others used to be sold separately in its own little card back, like this little box that's as big as, say, like a Battle Beast box or something. They used to sell them back then in Toys R Us Japan, and they were, not too difficult to get, but it's just the secondary market today. You check on eBay and type Headmasters, and then you type Headmasters, and then you do most expensive auctions, and then you see those guys, $699, $799, buy it now. Like they're super, like just for Kirk is $699, just for Trizer is $599, where you go out and you buy this box set and you get a Trizer that's dead on perfect 100% like the original that's on eBay for $599, and it costs you the whole set for everyone, and Fortress Maximus, Grand Maximus, Zarek, and Zarek for $80. It's just it's a steal, and everyone who's like every completist and big name collector is went nuts when this thing came out. Like this was a big deal, and when they do those Dino cassettes, that's going to be the complete deal. Like that'll be the whole. It's the same thing. Like we got a reissue from Hasbro not too long ago of a black jazz called Ricochet.
Mm-hmm.
And the story with that one was Ricochet was actually a homage or a reissue, if you will, to an extremely rare repaint of Jazz back in the 80s called Stepper. And so slowly, those extremely rare Transformer toys are finally getting reissued in one way or form, and it's making it easier for collectors who don't, even someone like me, who I fancy myself a little crazy when it comes to expenditures, but even me, I have my limits. I mean, to spend $1,000 on a toy, it's got to be of monumental importance, and then on top of that, to justify it on size. I mean, to spend $1,000 on a complete Fortress Maximus, I'll understand that, or a Grand Maximus, or a Scorponok. But when you're buying something as big as a Headmaster head for $1,000, that's when you kind of have to take a step back and really, really evaluate where your head's at.
Yeah, and it's
and that's coming from me, the completist.
Yeah, I know, Mr. Blank. Everything's a blank check.
Well, that's just it. Where I mean, that $1,000 is better spent in a lot of different areas, even lucky draws.
Yeah, and that's like me. I've told people before, the only Chinese Vietnamese auction I've ever buy it now thing on eBay I have ever gotten because I couldn't wait was that Wave 3 set of mugs for Shockwave and Jazz. At first, I didn't really care for Movie Optimus and Bumblebee, and they sat in their boxes a good 3 months before I said screw it, and I opened them anyway. But that's the only, before market thing I've ever bought, and I just can't. I can wait. I mean, look how long I've been waiting for a Henkei Rodimus,
And you know what? It's a good thing you are waiting, because now the value is going to go down. I think when
Protector hits.
Protector comes out, and then on top of that Challenge of Cybertron set comes out.
Yeah.
The value of, especially I remember I saw a guy at TFCon. He bought a Classics Rodimus for $80, and I looked at the guy. I'm like, buddy, what are you doing? Like we know what's coming. I mean, if it was the Henkei one, I'd understand, but the Classics one is clearly the ugliest of the three, of the four, even the clear one, counting that one.
Yeah.
It's clearly the ugliest of the three, and if you just would have waited a little bit for the price of that $80 you just spent, you could have got like 1.5 of that Challenge of Cybertron set.
Yep.
And then, or you buy the Challenge of Cybertron set and have a little money left over to get Protector. And considering how Protector is shaping up to be just this amazing thing,
Yeah.
I mean, you really want to have every dime for it.
So I know that, and I know we're kind of moving off your cassette there, but
No, it's fine. I'm done with it.
so with Protector, will the Challenge set version, will that go well with it or not?
See, my speculation is how it works is always based on color, and considering that from how it looks, the first two Rodimuses, the Classics and the Henkei one, they're both molded in the same color of maroon. They're both the same color maroon, so there's no big difference there. The only differences are a chrome spoiler, a deco on the chest, and clear plastic in the windows and the clear plastic areas. Now, on the Protector, the spoiler, it really doesn't make a difference one way or another what colors. It could be purple, and it's not going to change Protector or not. The clear plastic for the toy, same thing. It's not really going to make much of a difference what color the clear plastic is. And the decos, like the flame chest and everything, that's all covered up when it's in the Protector mode.
Right.
So, but this Challenge for Cybertron one, that's the one that concerns me, because from the photos, it looks like they use a lighter tint of red, like I was saying before, very similar to Rodimus Prime in the Marvel comic books.
Yeah.
So, assuming that they color the trailer after the Classics maroon, you might have a stark contrast in the super mode. Assuming. Again,
Yeah.
we still have yet to see a color version of it. So who knows? They might not do that. I don't know. But all I know is reading the fiction that they recently released for it made me smile.
I'm surprised you didn't and of course it was caught on camera, so you couldn't actually do this, but when you attempted to steal it, I'm surprised you didn't attempt to kidnap one of the Fans Project guys and just hold him at gunpoint and say, paint this the way I want it, damn it.
Oh man, it was amazing seeing it in person, and they were showing it off and everything. And for people who are a little confused with, for those who saw the TFW post about the comic book and everything that comes with, it's the comic pack-in that's usually the instructions for Protector. A lot of people are a little confused, what is that buggy that's coming out of? Because you have the G3 trailer that's in this mausoleum, and then the G3 trailer opens up, and then there's this little buggy that comes out, and the story behind that is because the G3 trailer came with this souped up roller that came inside it.
Right.
That had it was really cool looking and everything. And I think the story is that they're trying to play out in this is that Optimus dies, or as they call him, the hero or whatever. And obviously the trailer is buried with Optimus, but Roller's still alive. And now you have this Roller that comes out. Now he's sporting a Rodimus spoiler and Rodimus colors. And I think he's going to be key into the Protector upgrade.
Wow. Huh.
I think because it's you have the final line, I believe, in the comic is, it's let me join you, Protector, in our continued fight against all the dark forces. So I think Roller and what we saw at BotCon, which we have yet to see in images online, they showed us a little buggy that comes with Protector. Now, I don't remember that buggy very well, but...
You're lying.
What?
You're lying.
I'm not... Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, maybe Evangelist caught it on his video. One sec here. Preview. Let me see something here.
So...
'Cause I remember he talked about it.
Yeah.
There it is. You could see it under it. Aha. Hold on. Okay. Let me just send you the link right now.
Yeah.
Sorry, listeners. You're going to have to bear with us for a second.
Yes, we're having Protoman difficulties.
If you look under the trailer when it's in that setup mode there's a buggy under it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll have to.
Buggy?
Yeah, I'll have to look at it later because I can't play videos while we're recording.
There it is. They actually included it. But yeah, like that. I think that's my speculation of how they're going to play out the story and everything. And it looks amazing. It's Fans Project, without a doubt, are the kings of the third-party guys.
Yeah. So what are you more excited for, the Protector Armor or Masterpiece?
Well, Masterpiece, obviously, but that's because Masterpiece we've been picking away. Like, I mean, from what it's looking like now, it's gonna be Rodimus and Hot Rod. It's gonna have an opening Matrix door. I mean, it's good. Like, I love Protector, but the stuff that Masterpiece is gonna do is what we all wait for. I mean, Masterpiece is the quintessential peak of everything Transformers. Whatever character you like, you want a masterpiece of them. Whatever toy you like, you want a masterpiece of it. Like it's the end all and be all when it comes to Transformers. Where Fans Project is kind of, they exist to fill in the gaps of stuff that we want that
Hasbro will never do.
Yeah, that hasn't been made yet or will never happen. Like triple changers are always a scary thing for Hasbro. I mean, they're still trying to figure out what to do with Octane and Astro Train. I mean, I think we'll never. Because they don't know what to do. Because repaint-wise, like Classics, Octane, and Astro Train, they don't know what to do. They don't. In Japan, they're like, okay, we could do the anime color scheme and the normal color scheme, but Octane is just like they're like, what do we do with this? And that's the sad thing too, is that you could take. I mean, I remember someone pointed out, and it was actually very true. You could take Springer, who turns into a buggy, a car, and a helicopter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you gave him a new head, then you could sell him as Sandstorm also, who also turned into a helicopter and a buggy. Because that's the new practice that Hasbro does now, where they put a new head on a toy and maybe remold one thing or two things, and they repaint it.
Yeah, or in the case of poor animated Ironhide, they just give him a new head and don't change anything in the mold and just repaint it Dayglow orange.
Oh, but the point is that I mean, if they did do a Springer, they could at least do that to get one repaint potential out of it.
Yeah.
But even then, they only have that two repaints out of it. Where Hasbro, I think that now when they make toys, they kind of go, well, how many times could we repaint it, or how many times? Like, let's use an example: the Rodimus. Look at the mileage they got out of just that Classics Rodimus mold. We have the original, the Henkei, the Shattered Glass one, the Wild Ride Gente one, which is the other black repaint from Japan.
Yeah.
We have the clear Cybertron version, and now we have
Challenge.
now we have this Challenge one coming up. That's 6 times already on a toy that's considered really hard to get.
And you own 48 of them.
Oh yeah, sad but true. It's just that like when Hasbro does molds, they kind of always consider how do we make our money back in sales by repainting and re-releasing a toy. And triple changers are always this scary area. Like I love Broadside. I would love like a triple changer Broadside that's done like leader class because he's a big transformer. But it's like they're scared to do it. They're scared to do that because it's like, okay, we'll do Broadside, who turns into a plane and an aircraft carrier and everything, but then what do you paint him into after? And then some people go, well, you could always do the name drop and call him Tidal Wave and make him a Decepticon. Yeah, but it's just Hasbro. The new thing now is that they constantly are looking back. They're constantly are seeing what could we homage, what could we do, and that's kind of why like they even go with molds like Wheeljack, and like we're getting the Jazz that's coming. And then the reason why I think they waited this long was because they're like, well, what can we do with it? And then they realized, well, we could make Wheeljack and Jazz under the same umbrella. We could do like, I mean, the Trax one. It could easily be another character too. They could easily turn it into a myriad of different sports cars that they could use. that's why they love doing cars, is because you could take tracks, put a flame deco on the front, make them red, and just call them hot rod, and people will believe it. At the same time, you could take that same tracks mold and give it smoke screens colors and call it that, and people would believe it. So.
Yeah, speaking of going back to the past and masterpieces, why haven't they done Soundwave yet?
This is what I actually said on TFW. Takara is the ones that decides which characters are chosen, and on top of that, what you do to, like I always tell people, here's how you figure out what masterpiece is next. Okay, look at all the small line, all the small limited run Transformer toy lines that come out that focus on predominant characters. So you have the Mega PVC line, which had Optimus, Megatron, Starscream, Rodimus, Star Saber, and Lick Victory Leo as a result. Then you look at the Revoltech line, Optimus, Megatron, Starscream, Rodimus. You look at the Chrono Q line, Optimus, Megatron, Rodimus. You look at the, I could go on and on. It's just that there's a core group of characters that are extremely important to the Japanese that they kind of always want to do first, and I think Grimlock was the shocker for me personally. He was the outsider of the set that I didn't expect a masterpiece to be done of, but I think it's more because they needed a filler until 2010 for Rodimus. I don't know, but I don't think Soundwave will come anytime soon because in Japan he wasn't huge popular like he was here. The whole Soundwave love is lost in Japan. It's the same thing. Grimlock wasn't a huge popular character in Japan. We know him for the famous Greg Berger voice, and it's iconic. And he was, they were the guys who fought the Constructicons. But in the Japanese, that was kind of lost in there. It's the same thing. If not for the Japanese, we wouldn't get as much Rodimus love. The Japanese are the ones that love Rodimus. It's not the Americans. I think that the only reason that people are loving Rodimus now is because, I think even up to the point when that first Classics toy came out, no one really cared about Rodimus. It's only until afterwards that people go, oh, you know what, that Rodimus toy is pretty cool. And then we got an amazing animated toy. And then we got an amazing, masterpiece toy. And now people are starting to really respect and like Rodimus, where for the longest time everyone hated him. He was up there with Wheelie. Oh, you killed Optimus Prime.
No. That was only a certain camp. That wasn't everybody.
But there was a good group of people that had, that hated the character. And, even Hasbro, they were more focused on their core group of 84, 85 characters than focusing on a Cup or a Blur or a
Okay,
Rodimus.
that's fine, but the question still remains, regardless of the way Takara chooses things.
Well, what I'm trying to get at is that Soundwave doesn't get the popularity in America, in Japan, like he does in America. In America, he's huge. In America, he's very popular. He was an iconic character, voiced by Frank Welker. Everyone and anyone who even knows Transformers vaguely remembers the tape guy, But in Japan, they tried to give this character life, and they tried to give him notice, but it's kind of like, your masterpiece Soundwave was that music label one. It's kind of like, and not to mention, and that's another thing too about Soundwave, is that me personally, and while I don't want to knock your request, but I think that masterpiece toys really should be made of characters that had very shaky initial toy releases. Like when you have a masterpiece toy, it's got to be like something that's trying to achieve show accuracy to the extreme and making something that the original toy never was. That's why I didn't like Grimlock. If you look at the original G1 Grimlock, he pretty much was show accurate to the extreme. And on top of that, he wasn't a big departure from how he looked on the show. He wasn't, a bad toy. And then you look at the Masterpiece one, and not much has changed from the original G1 toy to the Masterpiece. Sure, there's a lot of gimmicks put into it and more articulation, but the engineering at its core and its transformation is more or less the same thing. Where if you look at something like Optimus, it takes his entire G1 transformation and flips it on its head. Or Starscream.
Well, it has to for Optimus. I mean, look at G1 Optimus. He has no back.
Well, that's just it. But that's why what I'm trying to say is that, I think that masterpieces should exist in order to make something better of something that was not perfect back then. And by not perfect, I mean really. Like I remember the Kobayashi, the guy who designed a majority of the Masterpiece toys, he wrote in the Generations Guidebook that when they were working on Megatron, when they finally figured out what to do with that trigger, like where to hide it, they had like a humongous beer party after, and they were celebrating because it took them forever to engineer that trigger that used to sit on Megatron's cock, incidentally, in the original G1 toy. So they really wanted, and look how, sure, hey, the feet are thin, but they did the best of what they could,
but
of the meat that they had to work with.
And I understand what you're saying, that Soundwave isn't that popular in Japan and all that stuff. But
what I'm getting at, though, is you look at the original G1 Soundwave toy, and what really needs to be improved
cassettes.
Aside from the cassettes, what really needs to be improved from the original Soundwave?
Not much.
That's just it. So to make a masterpiece, I wouldn't say it's a waste, but it's just that wouldn't you like to see... Well, see, the thing is, even though I would suggest it wouldn't happen, but wouldn't you rather see a masterpiece jazz?
For the Autobot side, sure. But just looking at the masterpieces we have already, Optimus, Megatron, Starscream...
that's another thing, and I have to stress heavily with the Japanese. The Japanese don't like villains. They don't sell.
And that's fine.
To the point that there were some Transformer lines in Japan that didn't have villains at all. Or if they did, they had 4 to like 30.
One of the reasons why I want a Masterpiece Soundwave in the same line that we've had all the other masterpieces, the Optimus, the Megatron, the Starscream, the future of that is Rodimus, is because, number one, the G1 toy is excellent. It is awesome. There isn't that much to fault. So I understand that they want to make toys better, like in the case of Optimus Prime from G1. But one of the reasons why I mainly want a Masterpiece Soundwave is so we can have slightly larger but still smaller cassettes. So
I think that request also is partially why the reason also I think we wouldn't get a Soundwave is because then they'd have to do engineering for cassettes. I think that, and I don't think they would just do straight up blown up Laserbeak, Rumble, Ravage. I think they would actually try to make a very amazing. Think about it this way. Imagine Soundwave the same size of Masterpiece Optimus. You own a Masterpiece Optimus Prime, correct? Or at least some form of it.
Yeah.
Imagine it that size. Now imagine how big those cassettes would be. So now imagine how much articulation and amazingness Ravage would be at that size.
I know, and that's the point. That's what I want.
But that being said, then that involves designing and engineering. So you're taking one toy already that has to be designed and engineered, Soundwave, and all masterpieces have some kind of light up sounds and gimmicks. They all do, with the exception of Starscream, but there's a reason for that. And so then they're going to create all these cassettes, and now let's say they just do, what you would want is multiple cassettes, but I think realistically they'd only do Buzzsaw or Laserbeak or Ravage. Like, I think they'd only do one because the budget would just be too much. And then the most important thing of all, repaint potential. This is something that, again, is always going to follow us.
Repaint potential, you've had 3 or 4 different versions of Soundwave. You've had Sound Blaster, you've had... Yep. What was the white one the Shattered Glass one?
I could see a Sound Blaster being done, correct? But that's just it. Yeah, a Sound Blaster could be done, but they're going to have to do something with those cassettes. Now, again, you're not going to get your Ravage then. What they'll do is they'll do Soundwave with Laserbeak and Sound Blaster with Buzzsaw. Or they'll do like a Soundwave with Rumble and a Sound Blaster with Frenzy. But again, that means they have to engineer two separate toys. And
Let's see that. All right. Well, in the case of Rumble and Frenzy and Eject and Rewind, those are interchangeable. Just the paint apps would have to be changed.
Of course.
Those four. So I mean, those shouldn't be an issue whatsoever. The main issue is, really not even Laserbeak and Buzzsaw, but Ravage, Ratbat, Steeljaw, and Ramhorn. Those four are the main issue. But I mean, still, make them some sort of exclusive or something. Like instead of say they made the Masterpiece Soundwave. Say they included Buzzsaw and Laserbeak. They can then go and make a 4-pack of Rumble, Frenzy, Ravage, and Ratbat.
They've
and
never
make
done
it
that
exclusive.
in the past. They've never done. I don't think the MP line would ever make a sub-line to complement something. Like what they would do, like it's the same thing. You had Optimus, and then when they made the trailer for it, they made a MPO4 Optimus with trailer. I don't think they would do like something where it would be just Soundwave, and then later they do the other cassettes.
Now let me ask you, the original version of Optimus that didn't come with the trailer, is there any difference to that between the original version and the one that comes with the trailer?
Nothing at all.
Okay.
Absolutely. Again, in America, it's a different story from the smokestacks and battle damage, but in Japan, MPO1 to MPO4, it's the exact same thing. It's just one comes with a trailer.
Okay.
And it's a bigger price point. And that also digs into the Rodimus that's coming out. The Rodimus is going to be the same price point and the same box size as the MPO4 because it's already been confirmed that Rodimus is the same height as MPO1 Optimus. Because we've seen photos of the Masterpiece Rodimus next to Predaking.
Mm-hmm.
And so using Predaking as a basis of height, we already know how big the Rodimus is going to be. It's not going to be small like the Grimlock and the Starscream or the Skywarp Thundercracker. He's going to be the same height as the Megatrons or the Convoys. So
yeah,
it's going to be a big box. It's going to be a big, big box considering it's coming with a trailer also.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say this now, and I've said this on Twitter and stuff. I'm over the fact that Dinobot won. I like Dinobot, and I understand why he won as far as the fan choice, and it may be the only time we get Beast Wars in the Hall of Fame or whatever. But still, it goes back to the fact that Soundwave got snubbed. I don't care. And just like we've been talking the last 20, 25 minutes about the possibility and improbability of a Masterpiece Soundwave, I just think he's getting a raw deal. It makes no damn sense to me whatsoever. Yes, I agree with you that it would be hard for them to do a Masterpiece Soundwave. Do I still want it? Yeah, let's go. I mean, he is one of the major characters from G1, regardless if the Japanese like him or not.
It's also it's the fact that he's a tape cassette, and it's a harder sell. It's a dated thing because while Masterpiece toys are marketed as a collector's toy in Japan, in America, Masterpiece toys are still aimed towards children. When we got that Ravage that came with Hound in Universe 2.0, he wasn't called a cassette mode. He was called a storage mode.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were trying to even dance around the fact of tape cassettes. I mean, Soundwave's a really complicated and hard sell. That's kind of why we've had a lot of weird things. We've had his
trucks
titanium,
and satellites.
Exactly. Trucks, satellites. His titanium was the closest thing that we had to his original form, aside from the reissues of the toy itself. I mean, think about it. Like a lot of people, when you look at the Classics line, Soundwave's reissue is part of that Classics line. It's almost like they didn't want to do a reissue Soundwave. They just counted that as part of the Classics line. Because it's hard to go back and do that. And, hey, he got his music label MP3 thing, and then he got the Rumble Frenzy headset. And then recently Blaster came out with the device label, USB drives. I mean, there's the effort, I mean, it's there, but even Blaster too. Look, I love Blaster, but him too. He's getting that same kind of direction where they're trying to reinvent the character in different ways. You know, and Blaster, he went from a Scion to like a repaint of Galaxy Force Soundwave as a jet. You know, I mean, if you're a Blaster fan, you really got shortcomings of a lot of things. So
especially that. Well, I will probably go after the SDCC exclusive Blaster for the most part, not right away, but eventually I will, considering original Blaster kind of costs a little too much. But I think he got gypped on the cassettes at SDCC this year. Last year, Soundwave got 4 tapes. This year, Blaster only got 3. And you can argue that, and I understand, Eject and Rewind, Rumble and Frenzy, they're the same cassette, except they're painted different colors. But you could still have included Rewind with the other 3.
Well, they are different molds, Rewind and Eject, compared to Rumble and Frenzy.
Oh, they are different molds?
Oh, yes, they are. Yeah, of course. 100%.
How are they different? They look the same to me.
Oh, Mike. Allow me to just pull up.
It's been a while since I've seen...
different weapons, different mold completely.
Okay. Yeah, I remember now. Never mind. But I'm just saying, I mean, Blaster kind of got the short end of the stick this year.
Oh, yes, of course, I do agree, because the fact that they engineered one without the other is redundant. Because, what was I going to say? Like, Soundwave, when he got his San Diego Comic-Con set, if you will, okay, they were pretty much coming off of, like, that Classics one that I was talking about previously. You know?
Right.
So they kind of had something to work with already. And the molds were readily available. When they did Blaster, and they decided, okay, we're going to put Steeljaw, we're going to put Ramhorn, and we're going to put only one of them. We're going to put the blue one, we're going to put Eject. And I thought, well, since you already have the mold, how is it such a big deal to not put Rewind also? And the funny thing is, it's not even a matter of cost, because Blaster, even though he's larger than Soundwave, he's less parts, he's less die-cast, he's less metal, he's less weight, he's less materials. He's a lot more simpler.
Yep.
And yet, he had less figures. I don't know. Maybe there was a loss at Soundwave. Maybe they were worried that Blaster wouldn't sell as well as Soundwave, which I could understand completely. Because Blaster pales in comparison to the popularity of Soundwave, even though I love Blaster more.
See, I love them both, and one of the reasons why I like Soundwave for the longest time, when I was a kid, Soundwave was my holy grail. This is before I got into Rodimus. This was, at the time, Soundwave was my holy grail. And one of my best friends had one, and he wouldn't even let me play with the damn thing. He wouldn't even let me touch it. And Blaster was the first one I actually had. I had got Blaster. I got all 4 cassettes with the gold weapons, not the silver ones, the gold weapons, the original. Were the silver ones the originals or the gold?
The gold ones were the variants.
Oh, they were okay, I see. I thought the golds were the original.
It's all the original Blaster cassettes and Rat Bat all got gold variant weapons. Okay.
All right. Well, I had the ones with the gold weapons, and I had all 4 of the cassettes. I had Blaster himself, and I love the hell out of that toy, and I don't understand why people don't like him.
You know what? I think maybe the people who don't like him, it's more of a scale issue. Blaster was my first ever Transformer toy as a kid, so that's why I have a special place in my heart for him. But I think it's a great toy. The only negative I could say is that the Japanese version from Microman is better, because it was an actual working radio.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I love the Blaster toy. I think he's great. I think the cassettes he come with are awesome. I love Steeljaw. I love Eject and Rewind. I love the the cassettes that you could get on afterwards for Blaster, which is the Kiss Play ones, which are Glit, Sundoor, and Rosanna. Later on, with if you got the reissue Blaster, which came with Flip Size, which was the other pink female cassette. I mean, there's a myriad of many different characters that you could pick up related to Blaster. And it's a little shame what San Diego Comic-Con did to him and how he was shortcommed, but I think it was a worry of sales and material against profit. Who knows? It's a long story.
Yep, and I guess on that note, I think we're going to close this. We've been doing this for slightly over an hour. Let's see. So, do you guys have any? Are you guys putting any TFCon videos up on the YouTube channel at all, or are we just?
We recently put up the last 2 videos of Dan Gilbazon's interview, and let me tell you something, the Dan Gilbazon interview is rated R because he says some hilarious stuff on there that you would never expect from the voice of Bumblebee. So anyone who wants to see Dan Gilbazon, the voice of G1 Bumblebee, raw, uncut, swearing in Bumblebee's voice, watch it. It's hilarious. And this was in front of a crowd of 150 people. So imagine, he knew what he was doing. And I think after he did it, he probably regretted it. But and then also, we're going to start putting up some newer videos. I believe some of the older panels from last year, not this year, because this year's panels, a lot of people put them up already. But some of the last year panels, I think. I have to ask Evan. He's the guy who's in charge of our DVDs and of our video production. But those are the 2 newest ones now, and they were added 2 days ago.
Oh, okay. Thank you for joining us here on ToyCast. For some ways to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show, visit the website, geekcastradio.com. You can comment on each episode post. Join the forums, PredaconEmpire.com/Nexus. Leave the show's feedback in iTunes. Please do this. Follow us on Twitter. TFToycast is the show Twitter. Mine is TFG1Mike. What is your Twitter?
Protoman X. And we recently hit 200 followers.
Woo!
Yeah.
Become a fan on Facebook. Search Geekcast Radio Network. Call the voicemail line. Tell us the show you're leaving the message for and your name. 502-526-5821. We hope you enjoyed this episode of ToyCast and wish you'll join us next time. Be sure to visit BigBadToyStore.com for all your Transformers and other toy-related needs and more. For now, I am TFG1Mike with...
the Goddamn Protoman.
Thank you for listening. Until next time.